Countdown came. We made Countdown in
21.
2021. We made it in 2021. Same like February 2021.
Same studio.
Yes, same studio. February
Was
2021.
it cooked from the scratch together, or was it
No.
a situation where Rema came in and you'd already cooked a beat and he
I'd
said,
made the beat like 4 months before.
no way.
Yeah.
With who in mind?
Nobody.
That's where I get all my energy from. From the stage to the studio and to my desk. I am the energy god. And you can be one too.
You're listening to Adeshokbe Live, the Afrobeat podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to a brand new edition of Adeshokbe Live, the official Afrobeats podcast, where we break down the hottest topics in the culture. And sometimes I'm joined in the studio one-on-one with a guest to chop it up with me. As always, we appreciate the support, likes, comments, sharing. Please click the subscription button right now if you haven't subscribed. The higher our numbers get, the bigger our platform becomes, the better we're in position to support our own culture, our own people, without waiting for others. This is brought to you by the Energy God Energy Drink. Drink and be yourself. Stay energized. This is for us, by us. Also supported by Iconic Distro, Iconic Distribution. Go over to iconicdistro.com where you can get information about music distribution, content distribution, global content marketing, tech marketing, anything that has to do with distribution, music, and content marketing. Go to iconicdistro.com for more information. Now, joining me in the studio for the very first time is all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, via Benin City, Edo State. Is one of the most prolific hit-making producers, platinum-selling producer, multi-platinum selling producer. That's correct, isn't it?
So hyped.
Please
already,
give it
like-
up for the incredible Andre Vibez. Platinum selling producer, multi-platinum selling producer. I'm not talking Nigerian numbers now. I'm talking global numbers. How does that
Well, then.
feel being introduced with that type of
Bro,
accolade?
it's the first time like I'm being. I mean, I think people say that, but like this is the first time like I'm really feeling the hype. Do you understand? Like it's so cool. Yeah.
Listen, man, I said Andre Vibes. A lot of some people within the culture, because you're what I would describe as a quiet producer. You're somebody that's making hit records, quietly. I don't even think. Do you have a tag on your music?
I do.
But
It's
what does
vibes.
this say? It's vibes. What,
Yeah.
it's not in your face.
Yeah, not really, but like it just blends with the music. you
Exactly. It's not in your face. So you're one of those. So a lot of people, when we start talking about the music and talking about, some of the crazy stuff you've done, then they're going to be like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But let's start. I ran into you a couple of times when I came into Nigeria. You even had to introduce yourself and
Yeah.
be like, yo, I'm Andre Vibes. I did such and such.
Yeah.
And the minute you said, I did such and such, the energy always changes. Is that what you get when you kind of reintroduce yourself to certain people?
Yeah, I get that. I would say when I meet people, I don't really like to just tell them,
this is what I've done.
this is what I've done. But for you, it was different
Yeah.
because I mean, you're an OG and like, I watch this,
Yeah.
all the time. I'm like, yeah, if I have to meet you, I have to introduce myself properly.
Facts,
I have
facts.
to tell you, so it doesn't look like I'm coming there to waste your time, or I just needed to meet you and just say hi and I respect
Nah,
what you
listen,
do.
I'll be honest with you, man. I think that's a dope introduction. I think it's very necessary as well sometimes when you walk into certain rooms, especially within our culture, because it's such a fast-paced industry that you meet so many people all the time.
Yeah.
And, you just forget, people just go through. So when you stop and say something that makes you stop and say, oh, it's that guy, trust me, I'd say take that advantage, take that opportunity and do what you did. Now, let's take it back a little bit. Andre Vibes, I said from Lagos State, from Edo State, Benin City.
Yeah.
Now, that is an incredible city that's currently now enjoying some of the accolades that is deserved for a long time. It's produced a lot of incredible musicians.
Yes.
Talk to me about growing up. Talk to me a little bit about your background growing up.
My background was pretty much very interesting. I I was like in between, it's like, this exposure, like you
Yep.
kind of like exposed to um the entertainment life,
Yep.
via my dad's, career and his, success and everything. And um I just always used to observe and learn and watch, a lot of things that happened at that time. And then, I was also exposed to music, just all types of music, growing up. And then I was also that kid who I had the freedom to like explore. I had the freedom to just try out stuff, whatever, I wanted to try out. When I was really little, I started off, by drawing, painting. That's literally like my first gift. Do you understand? Like, I came to the world with that. That's
Do you
what I
still do
remember.
that?
I haven't done that in a
In a long
very
time.
long time, in a very long time. But I mean, I have plans for that in the future. So for the most part of my childhood, it was just, visual arts, drawing, painting, trying to like create stuff, make cars, with wood, or, make tree houses, or just build like a house, a wooden
Yep.
house on the ground, and just do something. And then I always used to just play with my bicycle. I used to ride to like far distances that my parents, even till today, or my they I don't think if they knew, like, they would have lost their minds. Like, yeah. So, but the one thing I know is like I was never scared to do anything. I've never been scared to do anything. Like if it comes into my head, I feel that push, that nudge to do it. I just go and do it.
Where are you? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Benin. I grew up in Benin City, for the most part.
What part of Benin?
Ekenwan Road. I'm an Ekenwan boy proper. Yeah, you hear that
Represent.
you hear that in Rema's
Yeah.
song Benin Boys. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ekenwan, you're representing. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Benin. But I also I went to Lagos
Yeah.
for my secondary school
Yeah.
education, and that was King's College,
Yeah,
Lagos.
KC.
Yeah, so I would say it was when I was in King's College that a lot of like things I really, discovered myself and what I wanted to do, and just mixing up with like different people from different parts of, the country. KC is a unity school, so it's
Absolutely.
like, I just met people. Just it was I learned how to live with, different people from different walks of life, and just understanding them, and then also learning from them. And I think that's helped me, just shaped the person I am today.
You talked briefly about your dad's career.
Yes.
I didn't want to stop you there and go into it right there, but I want us to go into it right now.
Okay.
Your dad is one of the most iconic musicians
Yeah. Facts.
to come out of Africa,
Facts.
representing Nigeria, representing Benin City, Edo State.
Yeah.
The legendary, iconic Victor Uwaifo.
Yes.
Now, I grew up listening to this man, watching this man on television. Like, this is when you're looking at the Sonny Ades, the Obeys, Victor Uwaifo, Sonny Okosun, Fela Kuti. This was the generation, the golden age of Nigerian musicians that were not only Nigerian successes, they were global superstars.
Yeah.
Talk to me about being the son of one of the most iconic musicians that Nigeria ever produced.
I think it's a privilege. Like I wouldn't have it any other way, because I mean it was just meant to be, and I don't also think that I would be where I am if Sir Victor Ifo wasn't my dad. Yeah, I just think that's what it is. Like,
Because that gave you an extra to go further.
yes, it's just what it is, right? You don't grow up the way I grew up, and it's just experiencing his genius, experiencing all of that energy, that talent, and not pick up something from him. Do you understand? So and like I said, I've always been a very observant person. So I guess maybe because like I just I always step back and watch. When I'm watching, I'm learning, I'm picking things, I'm picking the things that I want, to take out, and then I just find a way to like, put it out there to just apply it to myself.
When did you realize that your dad was a superstar? Or how did you realize that, when he's your dad,
Yeah.
I don't know if you kind of know.
Yeah.
Or
I figured it very early. I think I was probably 6. At the age of 6, I kind of knew. Even though, I mean, there are pictures of him, there are videos, like I would watch videos maybe sometimes because I walk into his room, while he's maybe probably editing like a video or something.
Editing a video?
Yeah, editing a video of his like stage performances or something. He was in touch, like he was an all-rounder, right? So I mean, I'll walk in and see that, oh, this guy is doing this thing, he's performing, he's going crazy with his performance because he literally was a rock star.
Absolutely.
His energy was crazy, right? But I think where I really figured that this man he's a really big person, it's like I think I was around 6, 7, and I just realized that anytime we go out, the way people come around him and just want to get a handshake, be in his presence, or we're in the car and then you just see like crowd, like multitude of people like running after the car, or in fact if they just see him alone, like just see him driving, you see people shouting his name, Victor Uwaifo, Victor Uwaifo, Victor Uwaifo, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And then also I also used to have like people just drive to our streets to just come see our house.
Yeah, because that house was iconic. It's still there, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
Still
It's still
iconic
there.
as it is.
Yeah, it's still there. We need a little renovation.
Of course,
but like,
there's always
yes,
like,
but yes, in the 90s especially, it was crazy.
that was a tourism destination.
Yes. People would drive and just park in front of the house just to see Victor Uwaifo's house. It was crazy, and I would ride my bicycle in the compound. So when people stop, I'm like, it's so weird. Like, why are you stopping?
Because
like,
you were born into this,
born
so you
in
couldn't
there.
see it.
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's amazing. Now, musically, even though you grew up around that much music, of course, somebody that was iconic like him, did you see music as something that you were going to do? Was there any indication in the family, not only for you, but for others in the family, that was going to walk in your dad's footsteps?
So before me, I had siblings who they were into music, one way or the other. Either they played, they were like musicians in my dad's band, or backup singers for my dad, or they were doing their own thing. I have a brother who was also, he used to like open shows for my dad. Yeah. Wow. And he was like a Nigerian Michael Jackson.
Wow.
At the time, and then I mean, almost everybody in the family, most of my dad's kids, children, can play one instrument or the other. Wow. Some play up to like 4, 5. Wow. So when I was 7, my dad brought one of his the guitarists in his band to come, teach me like the basics on the piano.
At 7?
Yeah. And so I had started playing from there, and then it was just playing, and I was just having fun with it at the time. And then when I was in secondary school, I played for the school for a minute, but I wasn't thinking I was going to do music until I turned 14. So when I turned 14, I think then I started to have a lot of, like, I was reflecting a lot on a lot of things, where my life was going to go to. And I just realized that I don't think there's any other thing I want to do except music. If it's not music, then it's fine arts.
And that's what you study at
yes,
uni.
that's what I studied in uni too, so I just figured that, you know what, I think this is what I want to do, and somehow I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to be successful at this.
Did you think it was going to be production, or was it
So
just
it
going to
was
be?
it was just music. I was an artist, and then
So
somewhere
you were
along the line,
singing.
yeah, I was singing. I started as a rapper, but like, everybody was rapping then.
Everybody was dropping bars.
Everybody was rapping. So you see your guys, rap, and then you want to just, I can do this thing. So I'll go back and try to write my own raps. I'll take those lyrics books that I used to sell then, and then open it and pick up, copy some verses, and then switch it up, and then I'll come back and rap for my guys, and then people were feeling it. But after a while, I figured that I had to start writing my own, and then we went to the studio. I was in a group in my SS2, SS3,
Wow.
and I think that was the first time I went to the studio to record a song, and it was from there that I just figured that I also love production, because even just before going to the studio to make a song,
Yeah.
when I write my songs, I have the beats in my head. Like I have every part.
sound.
Yes, every part, like from the bass to the drums, the kick, the snare, to the chords, to the guitar, to everything. Like everything would play in my head. It's like if I was like a computer or something, like I could just take it apart. Yes, do you understand? Yeah, that's how it used to feel in my head. So yeah, I just figured that I'm going to learn production. It's going to be part of
Your own artist
my own
development.
yes, yeah, and it was easier for me too. I felt like it would be easier for me if I know how to produce. Then I don't have to disturb anybody or tell anybody this is what I want, or and start trying to make them figure out, like, understand what I'm trying to do. I can do it because it's in my head. All I need to do is just bring it out.
Just bring it out.
Yeah.
So obviously, everybody that wants to do music in Nigeria, no matter where you're based or where you've come from, eventually Lagos becomes the massive dream.
Yeah.
And then you go to Lagos. Where did this start? Obviously, you said secondary school.
Yeah.
Did you go back home, finish university, and then pack your bags and say, I'm going to Lagos?
I didn't pack my bags immediately after I finished university. It took a couple of years before I came back to Lagos. So, I started all of this for me. Music officially started for me in Lagos while I was in secondary school.
Yeah.
And then when I finished, I went back to Benin for my university education. And then I was done with uni in 2011 session. And at first I figured like, I just wanted to stay back in Benin and establish myself, in Benin, establish my name, just, do some things, just contributes to that
ecosystem.
That ecosystem first. I felt like it was important for me to do that first before I thought about like moving. And I was able to do that. I was able to do that between 2012 to 2015.
Who were you working with? Who were the names?
I
Then?
mostly was working with
happening?
like underground artists. I was discovering people myself, right? I was discovering people myself because I figured one of the things over the years that so I'm a very quiet person. I don't like to disturb people. I don't like to meet people. If I approach somebody and I feel like the energy wasn't right, I just I go back. So I always just try to figure stuff myself and prove myself, like, I see what this other person is doing, I see what this person is doing, these people inspire me, but I can do this. They're doing it, why can't I do it? So I can do it. So I'll go back and just try to figure stuff out, and in that process I always just get to learn. I'm just learning in that process. I'm just picking up things. And then I also learned that you'd only get, more respect when, you're bringing something kind of value, something to the table. So it's not just music. You're not just making music. You can make dope songs, and people are sometimes not everybody's going to see, or understand what you're trying to do or where you're going to. So, I figured that out, and then I figured that, you know what, while I'm doing this, I need to also, bring something else to the table to make people just see that, like, you can't ignore this guy. You don't need to know me, but if I walk into a place, if by the time we start talking, you'll figure that I'm not just any ordinary guy. Do you understand? And then by the time you start learning about the things that I can do or what I've done, you would even respect me more. So when I started to do that, and I saw that that was working for me, because it's like everywhere I went to, if I go to, I even had this experience from when I started off as a producer, right? I'll go to the studio I'll pay like the session to use the studio to work. And before I'm done working, like whoever manages the studio or owns the studio will come and meet me and tell me, bro, you can come here and work, man. I love like your sound. I love what you're doing. It's different. Just come and use my studio. And so mostly throughout my career, like, when I started, I've never really had to pay for sessions for myself. If I was working with a different artist, I'll tell them to pay.
But if you are going,
for me, I won't pay.
Favors like that.
Yes, I was just getting favors like that. And then I realized, like, I need to set up my own stuff. I need to build. I can't always come and meet people and ask them for stuff. I just need to set up my own stuff. And I realized I was more comfortable just in my own space doing my own thing, and over time I set up my studio, started having like people come around. I made like my first, it wasn't a mainstream hit, but like my first hit to me in my the South in 2012, and that was the first time. The feeling was so.
What was the artist called?
The artist's name is Leroy. That's the name he went by. And then it was such a big song around the South. It was big
in the South.
Yeah, everywhere you go to, you're hearing it. Parties, weddings, clubs, in the bus, like on the streets, from all those record stores that play like just display speakers.
You just finished university at the time.
Yeah, I just finished university at the time, so that was really dope. I started to have a lot of artists from Benin, from the South, come
reaching
up to
out.
me, and I'll produce for them, and then I produce for them, and then they take their stuff to the radio. They will get instant airplay when the presenters figure that it was Andre Vibez that produced the song. So I was like, okay, yeah. And then, I discovered some guys. This is singer, it's called Steven Tones, and then I had this rapper, KOD. And then, I made an album for him in 2015. We put out the album in 2015. And I know we didn't have budget or money or anything, but I just created that, and did that. And, I really wasn't expecting anything. And then this guy goes on to win like Best New Artist, South. I'm like, okay, something is going on here. Yeah, something is here. Do you understand?
That little encouragement that people wouldn't know, but you see.
Yeah. So the grind has been crazy, It's like
when you got to Lagos, what was the moment that you felt like doors started opening? Who were some of the people early on in Lagos that you worked with that opened one door to open one door to open one door?
I'll say I didn't have like that moment until 2020. I moved to Lagos in 2016.
So there was 4 years of pure grafting. So were you working other than music between that 2016 and 2020?
It was mostly music.
Wow.
It was mostly music, but for a year and 9 months, I went on to work in radio as a radio producer.
What station?
Sound City.
No way.
Yeah, Sound City. So I would say it's from Sound City that I think, that's where maybe the connection that happened that led to the first big placement that I had, started from.
And what was that placement?
Omah Lay's Yeah. So
Sound City is where the what's his name?
Valo.
Valo.
Yeah. So
Talk to
Valo
me
was
about that.
Valo was like head of music and everything. And my colleague, and I mean we used to talk. We're cool, and we talk. And so at the time when I met Omah Lay, I was just about to quit my job. In fact, I'd quit. I just went up to Valo and told him like, bro, I don't quit or I don't come out, man. I was like, oh yeah. And then, I told him like, bro, if there's any job, if you have anybody, also are they available, I'm here. It was like, oh yeah, that he has this guy that they just signed, that what am I doing later? It's like nothing. It's like, okay, you're down to come and meet him. I'm like, yeah. And then I went with him to where Omah Lay was at, and we met, we got introduced, and then I just played like a couple of beats. So at that time, I wasn't really even making beats because work was so much that I didn't
That you
have
didn't
time.
have time to
Yes.
create.
So some of the beats I played for Omah Lay were just like the few beats I was trying to make. I just kind of like started making beats again, and most of them were like just skeletons, like just half done, half done, half done, half done. And then these yeah beats, I already made that beat down, and I had Rema in mind. That was the same year. 2019 was the same year Rema
Rema
was
got
unveiled.
signed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had Rema in mind. I'd met Rema. Rema came for an interview in Sound City, and then, just meet. So I would say meeting Rema again after like how many years? There was just this whole new.
Had you met him before?
Yes,
in
I knew
Benin?
from Benin. Like, yeah, when he was like,
When he was coming up.
when he was
and
coming
doing
up,
stuff?
like his first record was produced by me.
No way.
Yeah.
That was like at the 2012 time.
No,
2014,
2015. So I think I met him in 2014.
Yeah.
2014, or ending of 2013 into 2014, and then, yeah.
And then you guys now met.
We met again in 2019, and in fact, before I met him, when the day Don Jazzy posted his unveiling, like I was so happy because I'd not seen or heard anything about him for years. So it's
to
like
see him
seeing
pop up
seeing him like on Don Jazzy, I was like, oh my, the excitement was so crazy. I'm usually not very, excited about so many things. Like I'm just very chilled, but I was very excited. I remember I carried my phone. I'll show my colleagues. I was like, bro, you see this guy? This guy is going to become so big. Like he's so good. He's going to become so big. And everybody was looking at me funny. Like, what's this guy saying? And even when he had dropped, like, maybe everything had like come out and was,
Was buzzing.
popping. Yeah. There was the whole comparison thing, like him and people would always prefer the other guy. I'm like, I get it. I know he's talented. Like they're both talented, but like you see this guy is going
I remember
places.
the day Don Jazzy posted him.
Yeah.
I DM'd Don Jazzy and I said, this guy, I'm ready to support you anyhow.
Yeah.
There's something here.
There's something, like you hear
There's
it.
something here.
If you're a music head,
If
you
you're
will hear
a
it
music person, you see it
instantly.
and you hear it. I
s-
just believed. I don't know why.
I saw it like immediately.
believed
like
instantly.
he was a different Rema from the Rema I knew before. Like
He had developed it,
it was
transformed.
very different. It was very different. I was like, no, this guy is gone. And that just motivated me because before then I was almost giving up. I was almost just, I was almost getting tired. I was like, yo, I don't even know
That's a
what's
long
going to
time.
happen.
2012 to 2015, 2016 to 2019.
19,
And then you said you played the beat for
Yeah,
for
so I
Omah Lay.
played the beat for Omah Lay, and he was like, yo, bro, I love this beat, man. Can I? I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. In my head, I'm like, I wanted to give it to Rema before. In fact, I'd sent it to Rema, but like I didn't have his contact. I sent it to Sean.
Yeah.
Because I collected Sean's number.
Details.
But yeah, I remember Sean was telling me that they're still building the studio and all of that. It wasn't making sense to me at that time. It was later I figured that the
They were
Mavin
still-
studio, they were
Yeah.
so there's a lot of work out. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I just thought like they were
Yeah, just Baba, forget.
so
Like they
when
put you
I
on
was
one
like,
side.
okay, you know what? Okay, it's cool. Yeah, you can
Jump
use
on
it. And then Omah Lay went and then recorded on the beats and then sent it back. And I heard it. I was like, oh, this is different. This is fresh too. And I didn't think much of it. And then some months down the line, so this was like around this September.
Yeah.
And then I think I got the song from Omah Lay in October. He sent it to me. And then I didn't hear anything again till January of 2020.
2020.
So Valo hit me up again. Was like, oh, that
put
they are
this
going, they
song
want to
out.
put this song out. This. I was like, okay, cool. So in my head, I'm like, I mean, Omah Lay is with the right guy.
Yeah.
You know, bad as he bad. If you drop, he has like airplay. You can put your song on radio and like, you know, me that
you
I
can
was
support.
fine with that. Do you understand? I was very fine
Just
with
to
that.
get
Like,
at least
yeah,
some-
like let people hear what I'm doing so that I can
Yeah.
get jobs, so that I can eat. That's what I was more concerned about. And at the time, Omah Lay, I think early that year 2020, Omah Lay put out You.
Yeah.
And I would hear the song. I didn't even know it was him. So there was one day I was, coming down the stairs in the Mavin building, and then I saw him on TV, but the sound was off. I'm like, I know this guy now. And this guy be this. So like, let me increase
Yeah,
the
what's
volume.
his
And I
name?
increased it, and I heard the song. It was like, I love. It's like, oh wow. So now this guy is singing the song. I did hear this thing like everywhere. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's like these guys, they can push this song. They go promote this stuff when they come out. Okay, no, it's not bad. And then lockdown happened. And it was like, what are we going to do? I didn't have 1 naira. I didn't have anything.
Where were you staying?
I was staying with my friend. at in Ogba. I didn't have a dime. Like the day, I even have a funny story, but I didn't have a dime, Sha. And 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks had gone. We're just surviving in the house, and then first of all, a friend that stays in the US hit me up like he wants some beats. And how much do I charge? And this is my guy. Like I would never charge him for anything. And he was like, I was like, oh, no worry, bro. Like I would just like, no, bro. Like I want to pay for it. How much do you charge? It's like, just give me, how many beats do you want? It was like 5 beats. It's like, okay, guy, give me waiting anything where you get. It's like, how much? I didn't even know how to charge him. I was like, bro, give me 100K. It's like, I'll make each for 20K. I was just give it away. I mean, I used to charge more than that, but like, I'm like,
this
you're
is
my
your
guy.
guy.
Yeah, just give me. I was like, okay, cool, deal. And then he sends the money. And the money was just enough to take care of. It was like, buy food, buy fuel, buy everything. And then I was like, and then the next week he came back again. He needs more. And he pays. So by this time, I'm able to gather like 300K. And at that time, 300K was a lot of money
What?
for me. I was balling that
flat?
period. Yeah. And we're in the house. It's not like we're going
Nobody
out.
was going anywhere. So it's just food
Which
and
internet, food, lights. Like if they take the light, there's fuel in the gen.
generator.
That was it. And then I think a month passed, 2 months passed, and Valo hit me up like, bro, it's time. Say like everything won't change like this. So I'm like, yeah, cool. And the night it dropped, Omah Lay's EP dropped. Bro, my phone went off. I'd never seen my phone go off like that before.
That's crazy.
My phone
Everybody
went off.
messaging you.
Yeah, like my Twitter is not even that active. Like, bro, the mentions I was getting and the way my followers just went, I think I was less than 500 like followers, and I just went up to like 2K plus or something, and then my mentions was going crazy, my Instagram was going crazy, followers were going up, people that I would used to like look up from, like if I just get a chance talk to this guy, introduce myself, message me like, yo, I see what you did there, like, respect, keep it up, that kind of thing. I was like, bro, immediately, it's just less than a week, bro, I started getting calls for jobs. Like people wanted to work, people that were doing like recording camps here and there were inviting me, and then I'll go out, and me that I'd never seen, like I don't think up until that time anybody had paid me anything more than 100K. And people were paying me up to like 250, 300K. And then when I realized that people were willing to give that up to me, and I took my price up a little, and they would not really,
People won't fight.
yeah, they won't fight more. They would just say, "Oh, let me just give you this." And I'm like, okay, okay, cool. And from there on, bro, everything changed for me. I won't say like I was rich or anything, but like
But at
I was
least
fine. Like I didn't have
food
to bother
started.
about I didn't have to bother about food. What I was gonna eat,
How?
or if I have to go out, and where will I get money to take Uber or whatever, bro. I didn't have to bother about anything
So
again.
from that moment, how did you lock back in with Mavins?
So I was already in Mavin from the beginning of 2020. That's when I met. January 2020 was when I met Don Jazzy.
Where? How?
In the Mavin place. So my cousin made that happen. My cousin, shout out to my cousin Regina. She was friends with Don Jazzy, and then I hit her up like sometime in 2019 too, around that time when I quit my job, and I was like, yo, because there was a post, I saw a post on Don Jazzy's story. I was like, she's in this post, and then I see her like she's always hanging out, like, Don Jazzy, you. Link me up now. She was like, okay, she would talk to him about me, and then she spoke to him, and then I think his response was he will see me, but his studio is not ready yet. And I was like, okay. In my head, I'm like, why is everybody telling me studio? I just want to meet you. I don't want to, I'm not coming to studio to work. Like, to be honest, I just want to meet Don Jazzy and I just want to near him and maybe ask him a few questions.
And just listen.
And listen. Do you understand? So, says studio, I was like, okay, cool. I didn't hear anything again for the next 4 months. And January, my cousin hits me up that Don Jazzy is ready to see you. He wants to see you. Now I was like, oh, for real? I'm not ready. And my guys were like, just go. I was like, okay. And I see Don Jazzy, it's very cool. We talked like 2 hours first before we even started talking anything about music. We were just gisting, and I was just there. It was just cool. And then, he now said I should play him. If I had anything, I was like, yeah, I just have like some old beats. It's old. I've not really it's like, just play it. And then I play the beats, and he's popping his head to like everything. I'm looking at him like, Baba,
this guy
they whine me.
I mean, sure you they whine me.
Baba, don't whine me. And he's bopping his head, and I'm like, okay, Baba, they feel my beat. Okay. And then I won't forget, like, the next thing, after he was done listening to it, the next thing he asked me was like, so what scenario do you see yourself in, like, here? I'm like,
any scenario.
I was
Baba.
like, I don't know. I just want to work. Like, if I can just have access to the studio to just create, maybe if I can somehow, work with your artists, like, that's fine. It's like I say, I like, boss. I don't even want anything. I just want to work with them. It's not even about money or anything for me. And it was like, bro, it's like, don't worry. Like, anything you make, we pay for it. Like, pay for the record. If you make a beat and we like it and the artist jumps on it and they want to put it out, we'll pay for it. I was like, okay. So that also like gingered me. I was like, okay, if not like that, I'll go work. Like, I'm going to work. I'm going to lock in. Like, and then I started going to the studio. All this time, I still had not met Rema, because Rema was really on the road.
Yeah.
And then I think I saw him in February, like a month later after like I started going to the Mavin studio. And then I saw him one night. I was in the studio, and I think somebody told me like, oh, Rema is in that studio. And then I just went in, and Rema was surprised, like, bro, how far, man? It's like, you're here. I'm like, I'm here, bro. I'm working here. I was like, cool. I was like, yeah. And I could tell, like, he was happy. It was cool, because we talked that night. Like, Rema was there recording, and we talked that night. Before we even started talking, I just watched him record. Like, he was himself. He was recording himself, like, only him in studio.
He was taking everything down.
So I was watching him. I'm like, yo, Omah, this guy don't grow.
He don't learn, no.
Like, So, and when he was done, because I could tell, like, he needed to
work.
right? So I gave him, time, but I just sat down quietly. And then when he was done, he now turned to me, and then we started talking, and then I was like, yo, it's cool. Like, I'm glad that you're here. We'll see. I haven't played in one beat. I was like, bro, I have this beat where you jump in. It was like, listen to it, like, yeah, it's cool, it's cool. That he would jump on it. So I could tell that, okay, you know what?
Let me go cook.
Let me go cook. You know what? I don't need to push anything.
yeah.
You understand? Just chill. And months passed. It wasn't until like August that we actually now finally go into the studio to start creating. In fact, it started with Ladipo. So Rema and Ladipo, the same beat I played for Rema when I met him in the studio was the same beats that Ladipo now heard the beats, and Ladipo was like, oh, he loves this beat. I was like, I kept it for Rema, but if you want to jump on it, it's cool. Ladipo was like, oh, that's even cool. Like he's actually thinking of doing this song with Rema, so maybe they should work on this.
And what song was that?
His song is not out yet. Yeah, and then he Rema up, and Rema came to the studio the next day, and then I recorded, them. And then after I was done recording, Rema just, walked up to me. I was like, bro, it's like, I'm down to work, man. Are you down? Like, I was like, bro, I'm down. Like, I'm ready. It's like, okay. It's like, when? I was like, tomorrow, if you're ready, like, tomorrow. It's like, okay, he's going to be in the studio 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bro, the next day, 9 a.m., Rema was in the studio, like, waiting. And that's how we started recording, just making music, recording, just, record on my beats, record on beats that other people would send to him. And so I was just recording a lot of songs, some, and then that went on for like 3 weeks straight, back to back to back to back to back to back. We're just creating. And I feel like that also helped me in Mavin, because before then it was like there are other people working, so I think the fact that Rema was comfortable and working with me, they started to like really pay attention. They started to pay attention to what I had, and it was just up from there.
Was it that time that Calm Down came?
No.
Was it during that time?
So this was 2020. Calm Down came. We made Calm Down in 2021. We made it in 2021. Same, like February 2021.
Same studio.
Yes, same studio. February.
Was it cooked from the scratch together, or was it a situation where Rema came in and you'd already cooked the beat? And
I'd made the beat for like 4 months before.
No way.
Yeah.
With who in mind?
Nobody. Yeah.
What were you thinking of when?
Hunger. Hunger. Just the need. Like, I felt like I was, slacking. I woke up that morning. I wanted to go do other things like shower and then get something to eat. I was stepping out of the studio, and I just felt something like, say, go back, guy. You never walk rich. I feel like, I think the night before, because I slept off a bit, I feel like what I was trying to do the night before, I didn't finish it. So I was like, I don't think I've achieved like what I wanted to achieve like this week alone. Let me go back and make this thing. And then I didn't even have anything in my head. I just went back, and then I just started like,
And you completed the beat that day?
Yes, it was.
Who was the first? So was it Rema that heard the beat? Who heard the beat?
Rema wasn't the first person to hear the beat.
Who heard the beat to say?
The first person who heard the beat was Magix. Yes, it was Magix. But we didn't really do anything on it. He just like put ideas on his phone, and then he was supposed to come back and record, but like
it wasn't meant for him.
Yeah, that didn't happen. And then I didn't open the beat again till like 4 months. In fact, I didn't even remember I had the beat again. I think that moment where you're looking for something. Look, one thing, and then you just play. I was like,
this thing there here.
This be there. So I kept it, and then that same day, Rema came to the studio again. And then when he came, I just like, bro, I have this beat too. Like, let me play it for you. It's like, okay. I played the beat, and he was like, bro, leave it on. Just put it on loop. And he just went to the corner of the studio, like, just squat. Didn't even sit down, he just squat, like, went in a squat like that. And then he was just like this, and then he would stand up and come to the mic. It was like, oh yeah, let's record this part. And he would just make melodies. make melodies, then go back like every 8 bars, then go back, and then make another melody. Then he now said, "Oh yeah, let's record now," and then started coming up with like the
The
words,
lyrics
the
for it.
lyrics, and then go and record and go back again and come. I'm like, yo, and when we're done and play this song, I was like, oh man, this song is beautiful. Though.
Did everybody feel the same way about the record when it was completed? That
I
this is a
don't
good
I
record?
don't know, because I don't think, after we made the song, I just saved it and sent him an MP3.
The file.
Yeah, that was it. I don't know if he played it for any other person.
Yeah.
For me, I saved it and I kept it. I probably played it for like 2 or 3 people, and they liked it. I know I played for Boy Spice, and Boy Spice used to always tell me like, bro, that song, I want to drop that song. And then before the song dropped, once I think I already knew the song was going to drop, like this is a week before it dropped. So I was with DJ Neptune and we're driving his car, and then I was like, bro, let me play this song. And I played it, and DJ Neptune was like, bro, this song is going to be big. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Cool.
Let me see how many. I think in America now it's like 4 times platinum in America now, or 5 times.
Lost track, man.
Yeah, like over 1 billion streams in. When they say multi-platinum selling producer, we're not just calling numbers from Nigeria. We also have records online.
Records.
Every time it keeps
And
crossing.
fun fact, as of today, I just saw that Rush
is
also
over
like
1 million.
a billion streams too.
Over 1 billion streams and sold
A
over
million-
1 million
million in
copies
US,
in
in
America
US, yeah.
about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So not only did you do craziness for Rema, you did some craziness for Ira Star.
Yeah.
You done some madness for Ladipo,
Yeah.
Feeling. You've like with hits like these, Rush, Calm Down remix. Is there pressure now when Andre Vibes is when they say Andre Vibes is coming into the studio, does the studio door open and everybody say, hey, leave him or does it come with pressure now? Because you've done some big stuff. Like, how many producers in their lifetime will make a hit record, let alone a global hit, like performed on every platform?
Bro, I don't feel one pressure. Not one. I've been doing this a long time. Like, I've gone through so much. I've gone through like different phases in my life that I just built myself to a point where I know I'm so confident in myself. I know what I have. Do you understand? And I know that hits don't come every song. Do you understand? You have to also understand that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that song would be a good song.
It was a good song.
I know I make great songs. Do you understand? So I just want to make great songs, because even when I created these songs, I was just trying to make great songs. I was just trying to make songs that I would enjoy listening to, and other people will enjoy listening to them. So I'm just gonna keep creating like that, and I know another moment will come. I know it will come. Do you understand? Because
just have to
even
keep
at this point, I also understand that there's also like the business side to it, and how to like push the whole. So I get it.
Promo,
the promo.
placements,
So there's a way you can place it.
playlist.
Do you understand? So I understand that too. Do you understand? But like I also know that it starts with having the right record.
Facts.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you specific questions, and I want you to give me just like straight answers. What are your thoughts about Don Jazzy?
He's a great guy. He's an amazing person.
Special.
He's special. He's genuine. He's like one of the most genuine persons I know. Yeah.
Working in Mavin, what is that like?
That's family. That's like, what's this movie? This Fast and Furious movie. You know how they that's it. Yeah.
What are the most what have you learned from not only being a producer, but being a producer in an establishment like Mavin Records?
I've learned discipline. Yeah, discipline, and just being focused, just staying focused, and just having goals, and just going at those goals, like making sure like you achieve those goals. being in Mavin, I've watched people like Don Jazzy, people like Tega, you know, people like Rema, people like Ira, just, you know, goals, like the way they move, and it's like they make things happen because they took that step, like they, you know, and they believed, it's like they wanted to do this thing because they knew there was something in it, and they went on to do it. And so I also like, you know, I tap from that too. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rema. Talk to me about Rema.
Rema is the most talented dude that you're gonna meet. Like, he's so versatile, so crazy. Like, if everybody's doing stuff like this, expect Rema to do it this way, and he's still going to do it so well. And then he's one of the wisest, you know,
Deep.
very wise.
Old soul in a young body.
Yeah.
Extremely intelligent. Now, Ira the star.
Celestial being. She's amazing. Like, Ira walks into this place now, she lights up the whole place. She's so talented. Like, I've literally seen Ira from when she was in the academy, and how great and dope she was, to when she dropped her first EP, to her first album, to the second album, like to where she is now. Like, the growth is so crazy.
Incredible.
So incredible. Do you understand? Like, she's amazing. She's a very and she's a very, you know, very playful person. Like, she's cool. Like, you know.
Yeah. The energy is perfect.
Yeah.
Now, there's one person that nobody talks about a lot, but those of us who have eyes can see.
Yeah.
Tega.
Tega, man. Tega is the guy. Tega is the hand. You know, Tega is brains, ideas, and execution. That's who Tega is. Like, if Tega makes things happen, and Tega is never like Tega is always working. He's always working, and he's so chilled. You know, Tega doesn't relate to anybody like, oh, I'm your boss, or I'm your guys. Like, everybody's just cool, like your guys and stuff. Like, Tega is
Top
that
of the food
dude.
chain. Now, when I was growing up, the story was that the legendary Sir Uwaifo got his incredible guitar from a mermaid.
No.
So where did he create that?
He bought his guitars and also created his own guitars.
Wow.
Yeah, he built his own guitars. He had been doing that from the 70s. In fact, from when he was a kid, he would make, because that's how he started playing guitar, like from trying to make his guitar until he got like his first actual guitar and learned how to play. So I think later in the 70s, he would, you know, build like the double neck guitar.
Yeah.
As I think his reason for doing that was the strings on one wasn't enough, so he needed more strings, you know. And he would also like put like this Boris for
it to spin.
To spin 360.
What we saw with the rock stars,
Yeah.
that he was doing that before we saw that on TV with any rock star anywhere
actually
in the
did
world.
it. It's very I'm not gonna see. It's very possible that
He was the first
He was
person.
the first person,
Facts.
but because I mean he's African, he's
Listen,
Nigerian, you know.
We're going to say here officially,
Yeah.
Sir Victor Uwaifo was the first person to have a spinning guitar. That's all we knew.
Yeah.
We didn't see anybody else anywhere in the world with that.
Yeah.
That was him. And I was saying something to you a couple of years ago. We saw a documentary on the BBC that came to the iconic house that we were speaking about earlier on.
Yeah.
Showed his expensive cars, man. He was driving a convertible. He had the Benzos. He had everything back in Benin a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know what Rema said when he came here, which was one of the reasons why I said we don't document stuff. Yeah, we're all happy now. Rem's 4 or 5 times platinum. Ira Star is platinum, this, that, and the third. But your dad had plaques.
Yeah. My dad was the first African musician to get a gold record in Africa.
Talk that talk. Say it one more time, brother.
First African musician to get a gold record in Africa. And it wasn't just one gold. He had like other gold records and silver and bronze. You know, at that time it was gold, silver, bronze.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was selling
records.
crazy records.
Yeah.
Now, in the family, to have another artist that's getting plaques globally What's that energy like in the family, man? Does it change how people speak to Andre in the house now, or it's just like it's expected that somebody
It
has
has
to?
changed. It changes, like things, stuff. Everything changed. Everything has changed, but I'm still the same guy. But
Yeah.
like everything has changed, and at this point, I've assumed like a new responsibility in the family. Literally, I'm the breadwinner. I take care of like everybody. Take care of everything. Make sure that everybody's good. Make sure everybody's eating. Try to create platforms and
Opportunities
opportunities
for others.
for others. Even if I can't give you money directly, because not everybody you have to give money to.
You can empower them in
just
different
empower,
ways.
like, you can use this to grow.
Facts.
Yeah, and let's grow, make something out of yourself. Let all of us come back
Facts.
and sit
And
you know,
become
table
stronger.
do you understand? So that's what I try to do, and I try to do that with like my friends and people that work with me. Even while they're working with me, I try to
Put them
have
in
in positions, because I have other businesses, I have other ventures. I run a restaurant and a lounge in Lagos.
In Lagos?
It's pretty new, but like, I
What
have
part of Lagos is it?
on the island in Osaka, London. But
No
we're
way.
going to move to phase one, because I just recently acquired like commercial property.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
When you make hit records,
Yeah.
platinum selling records, the money is long, brother.
Bro.
I see the leather
and
jacket,
that's-
man.
yeah.
I see everything.
I'll say see, that property is my most expensive.
No way, the
It's
one you just
crazy.
acquired?
Yeah, like I didn't even believe I could do that. I didn't
You
believe I
didn't
could
you
do
didn't believe that you had that kind of money, but the money is there.
that. Yeah. I didn't believe, like, I was literally just driving, because since when I started my own like sport, I just thought like I need to bring it to phase one. It's easier, like, to promote, to push, the brand. It's easier to do it there. And I was just driving and I saw this building. I'm like, I saw for sale. I'm like, yo, I like this building. I think this building is my own. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. And I called my lawyer. I was like, yo, because he handles all my, business and everything. Call him like, bro, come out. You need to see this thing. And he came around. I was like, bro, I want this building. I don't know. We need to get the contact of whoever is selling. Let's talk to them. Let's see if there is a plan. Do you understand? Even if it's something we can pay in installments, let's do like a payment plan. I was like, okay. And he went around. He even went to he was trying to get me other options of other places that were cheaper. I'm like,
This is not the one.
and he would even check, like, he would come back and tell me like, oh, that place is actually, there's something wrong, or there's this thing. And it was like, do you know what, the one that you saw is actually like good property. Yeah, let's talk. And then he did all the negotiations and checked out, and then I was able to
So what's the name of your spot that's active right now?
oh, it's called Sonic Room Lagos.
Sonic Room Lagos. We're gonna check that out.
Yeah.
Finally, and most importantly, who should we be looking forward to that you've been in the studio with, that that this artist is about to be a monster? They've got crazy stuff in store.
So these are my own artists. Troy Venus, amazing, talented guy. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a producer. He's just amazing, and I'm very confident. I'm very sure that he's going to, do some madness in the industry.
Troy.
On the Afro, Troy Venus.
Troy Venus.
Yeah, and then I have I'm working with Good Girl LA. Probably know her.
Oh, come on, Good Girl LA, man.
Yeah.
That's my girl for the past like 6 years.
Yeah.
Good Girl LA, man. Like, come on, man. That's
Girl
my
LA, she's working
look.
so hard.
This is me talking to her. Look,
Yeah.
I believed from day one, man.
She's crazy, and she
Come
needs to,
on, Good
like,
Girl, man. Listen, yo, I'm gonna say this right here. I believe from time. This is 6 years ago. I've always been believed.
Yeah.
It's time, Good Girl LA.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
Yeah, and I've known her for like almost 10 years.
It's
'Cause
time.
I met her when I came into Lagos. and
Yeah.
We've been cool. Like,
Nah, it's time. It's time. Listen, I'm excited. Congratulations about everything. I'm excited about everything that you've done.
Thank you.
I think you're not only a talented young man, but a very level-headed person that's come from incredible cloth. You've come from great cloth. You're being handled by great people. Don Jazzy is one of the most amazing human beings alive. He's done something for me that, yeah, he knows. He's a different human being. Yeah. Not only what he adds to our culture, but what he adds to people. Yeah. You know, and again, you've spoken about everybody else. I'm excited about the camp. I believe in that camp. I believe in the talent from Magix to Boy Spice. I'm a fan. I believe in all of these guys and girls. And I can't wait for everybody to blossom and you to continue to reach greater heights. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my guest, the one and only Andre Vibez. Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it.
The Afrobeat Podcast.
Right.